I came across Incantation when I was going through my Super Nintendo games, and I forgot I even had this game. I don't know where I got it from or what, I didn't even know I had it. So I figured this would be a good game to pop in and give it a try. And I tried to do a little bit of research on it beforehand, and I realized that the game doesn't even have a page on Wikipedia, and there's really no videos up on it on YouTube, so I figured this would be the perfect game to pop in and try it out. So it starts off as your pretty basic platformer with tons of coins to collect, obviously. And I soon come to realize that it's the type of game where you have to collect items in order to make it to the end of the level. So you can't just go from point A to point B. You have to collect certain items in order to advance to the end of the level. Now, here's the first part of the game where I started getting annoyed, because the jumping and shooting mechanics in this game are definitely not that accurate. And there's a mechanic where you shoot orbs and it transports you to different parts of the level. It's kind of got a little bit of a puzzle element to it. You know, you gotta venture around the level and find those jumping blocks which allow you to pass the end of the level, which you'll see in a second. There's the third one, and once I collect it, I will be able to pass this guard right here who will let me through to the boss. And so far the graphics have been pretty bright and cheery. The music is definitely not that good though. It's pretty boring and drab. Now here's the first boss. Now, at first, I didn't know if I was doing something right, doing something wrong, because I'm shooting this guy. There's no health indicator, he doesn't flash, he doesn't blink to let me know that I'm shooting him. So I just kept on going. Eventually I'd die, and it took me a couple of tries. And once I died, I had to start at the beginning of the level. So after a couple of tries, I was finally able to beat him. It was getting kind of annoying, and I was able to go to stage 2. Stage 2, totally different setting. And that is when it starts to get a little bit tougher. The enemies take multiple shots to kill, which was getting pretty ridiculous. I'm talking like 6 or 7 shots to kill some of these things. And this level has some pretty annoying jumps. Like here you'll see it's a blind jump. You don't know what you're getting into. And of course, an enemy that takes a godly amount of shots to kill. You would think he's a mini-boss. After I kill this guy, I find out that the game has a really unique mechanic where you can kind of mix your weapons and create them Kirby style, so you can mix different abilities and get different effects for your weapons. And here's where it begins, the cheap deaths. The jumps in this game are pretty brutal. You have to be very accurate in where you're jumping, and if you miss by an inch, you're going down. So I finally get to the end of this level, but I realize I don't have all the items needed to advance. And you can't backtrack. There's nowhere to go. So I try and jump, and you die. There's nothing you can do. I start back at the beginning of the level. I come back, I try again, and I die. After many, many tries, I finally make it to the end boss. And this guy has a pretty tough pattern to memorize. And one main complaint that I have about the game is there seems to be absolutely no life regeneration. So from point A of the level to point B to that boss, there's no chance to refill your health or anything. So this is like my 4th or 5th attempt on this guy already, and I'll tell you guys this game is not easy by any means. It's pretty frustrating, and this guy can be cheap at times. But after so many cheap deaths and tricky jumps and everything, I'll finally come to beat this guy right here. After many attempts and getting sick of that level, I come to level 3. Here I'm like, okay, maybe this game isn't that bad. You know, it's got a cool level design. I got this weapon that shoots bombs. You know, I'm falling down and I can't see what the heck is going to be down there to shoot me, so there's some cheap hits they get in there. I kind of like the idea of what's going on here. It's a vertical level. Then I come to this point where I shoot the orb to transport me, and I get teleported right onto a giant ant. And that's about all I have for Incantation, guys. I really did not feel like starting that level all over again. So in the end, it's a pretty mediocre platformer. I just wasn't having that much fun with it. And it's a pretty rare game too. It's definitely not that common, but don't go out of your way looking for it, because if the hour I spent with it was any indication, it's not worth your troubles.